Welcome to Ned Talks. My name is Kevin Goss, and I have the privilege of serving at Chi United Church here in the Northeast District. And I'm doing a series of recordings under the category of church revitalization. And today we're going to talk about the timing of implementing change, right? Are we being intentional? Are we being impatient? Or are we moving too slow? You've heard similar percentages to this, but you get the idea. If there's 100 people, about 5 of them tend to be catalyst people, right? They're the ones that come up with innovative ideas. They're the inventors. They're the creators. About 15% are then what we call innovators, in the sense that they can catch the idea of someone quickly and they can see how to implement it, right? And they're like, ooh, I can see how we could do this. Then you have the early adopters. That's about 30 of the people in the room, right? So about 5% are catalyst people, about 15 are innovators, about 30 are the early adopters. They can see the need for it and they buy in. And that's about half your church. The other half, though, are your middle adopters. People who kind of, they're a little bit more cautious, but they'll buy in along the way. The late adopters, about 15, they have to actually see it work before they buy in. And then the almost never adopters, right? If you've got 5 that are your catalysts, you've got 5 that are the never adopters. They just, no, not interested. Well, as we're implementing change, one of 2 things can often happen. Sometimes we don't get enough of the right people to buy in before we charge ahead, right? If you got that 100, we get the 5 catalyst people and the 15 innovators, and we're like, let's go get them. And we left 80% of the church behind in the process. We didn't take the time of getting our early adopters on board, right? Their language and their culture and understanding helps them communicate with the middle adopters, who then help communicate with the late adopters, right? And you've heard these principles before. So sometimes we have to be patient enough to get enough of the right people on board before we yell charge. But on the flip side, what happens if you have a couple key leaders that are late adopters? The problem there is late adopters tend to not want to do something until they see it work, but you can't implement the change in order to show them that it will work. So sometimes leaders can wait too long because they're trying to get a late adopter to buy in before they start doing something. You see, that's kind of the inverse. So in your church, where do you lean, right? Where do you tend to live? Are you a catalyst person? Are you an innovator? Are you an early adopter, a middle adopter, a late adopter? Look at yourself and look at your board and see what your makeup is, so that you know that as you're starting to implement change, you know which people you need to get on board before you start. All right. I hope this has you thinking. And if you'd like to talk more about it, don't hesitate to reach out, because sometimes it's waiting for the right people to buy in before we get going. And sometimes it's moving forward because certain people won't buy in until they see it work. If you want to talk more about it, don't hesitate to reach out. Have a great day.